Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Hit the bell icon button so that you don't miss out any tutorial.
Now we'll be taking a look at object-oriented programming in JavaScript. Basically, object-oriented programming consists of objects. An object can have properties and methods. Object can be defined as an instance of a class, and it has some properties and methods. We can make use of a constructor, which is used for instantiating an object. Then we have some programming terminologies like inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, and polymorphism in OOPS, that is object-oriented programming. We'll be taking a look at each one of them. For instance, inheritance is basically when a class inherits characteristics from another class. So over here, if we have a look, we have defined a person class, which is basically having name and age as properties and greet as a method. And then we have created another class called student, and we are inheriting from the person class by making use of the call method. The person class call is something which is available at global level, so you don't have to define it inside your person class. It's just there and you need to call it. So we are calling the parent constructor over here, and then we are inheriting the student class from person. Now a student will have these properties and method. Now we have to point the constructor pointer to the student class. As of now, it's pointing to the person class. Once we are done with this, we can just override the greet method that we defined inside person class. Over here, you can see that we are printing the output and console log, and here we are just concatenating greeting with name and age. So when we create a student object and give name and age and then call the greet method, this method gets called, and when I run this in console, you can see that it says hello, then the name and your age, and the age that we passed to the age variable is shown. We can also verify whether student object is instance of person or not by making use of the statement. Similarly, we can also see whether student object is an object of student class or not. In JavaScript, we do not create classes as such. JavaScript is prototype based, so we do not create classes, but yes, we do create objects, and creating objects is done in this manner. First we create a function, and then we instantiate it using the new keyword. In the example that we just discussed, we saw that student class does not know how the greet function, or for instance the talk function, is implemented inside the person class. But still, it can use that method. The student class does not need to explicitly define that method unless we want to change it. This is called encapsulation, by which every class inherits the methods of its parent and only needs to define things that they want to add or change. Now we'll discuss about abstraction. Abstraction is a mechanism that permits modeling the current part of the working problem. This can be achieved by inheritance, that is specialization, or composition. JavaScript achieves specialization by inheritance and composition by letting instances of classes be the values of attributes of other objects. The JavaScript function class inherits from the object class. This demonstrates specialization of the model. And the function.prototype property is an instance of the object. This demonstrates composition. So here we have a variable function, and when we check this one, whether a function is a function, by making use of the instance of keyword, we'll get the value as true. And then we also check whether a function.prototype is an object, and when we check this, we get the value as true. Now we'll be discussing polymorphism in JavaScript. Polymorphism is the ability to call the same method on different objects. and have each of them respond in their own way is called polymorphism. In object-oriented programming, we think of objects that are linked through inheritance as the same methods, overridden methods, and that the method being called up is the method associated with the object and not the type of reference. This should not be a problem in JavaScript, as reference variables in JavaScript is not typeset. We can assign any type of data to a variable in JavaScript, and JavaScript will know the object a variable referred to if it exists. So over here we can see that we have created one employee class which is having name, age, and talk method. Similarly, we have created talk method in person class. Next, what we are doing over here is we are inheriting the employee class from person, and then we are setting its constructor to employee. Next, we have defined a function called showInfo, which is taking one parameter called obj, and this one is calling the talk method. Now over here the argument obj can be of any kind. Which method talk to be executed depend on the object that obj referred to. So over here we have created instances of person as well as employee class, and when we call showInfo on person object, the person object's talk method gets executed. So over here this will get executed, and when we call employee method, employee object, the employee's talk method gets executed. So when I run this browser, you can see that first person class talk method is executed, and next the employee class talk method is executed. So this was polymorphism in JavaScript.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, do give us a thumbs up and share it. Also check out amazing discounts and offers on our premium courses in the description below.